A doozy coming to town on Thursday with the star-studded Sherbrooke Phoenix headed to Cape Breton. Joined now by their play-by-play man Marc Bryson. Marc, they added Olivier Adam, Jacob Melanson, Marc-ANdre Gadet, and Jacob Brabenich. How excited are you to see this team after they've made all these big acquisitions?
Thanks for having me, Patrick. I'm really excited to see these new players with the Sherbrooke Phoenix because there's been rumors for quite some time already. We really were looking forward to this trade period to see if the Phoenix would do all these trades, and they did. So we're very surprised in a positive manner, of course.
The Phoenix have 4 players that played in the gold medal game, and they have 3 members from the Team Canada that won the gold, with Tyson Hinds on the back end, Joshua Roy up front, and head coach Stefan Julien, who was an assistant coach for Team Canada. Particularly zeroing in on the 3 Canada guys, what have Julien, Roy, and Hinds meant to this Sherbrooke team this year?
It's been everything because, of course, Stefan Julien's been there for quite some time now with the double duties of coach and general manager. But the team that he has this year, that it's a team that was built around Tyson Hinds and Joshua Roy. Those are the 2 big trades that he made in the last 3 years. He paid quite a steep price. I call it a fast rebuild. After the pandemic with Joshua Roy, who wanted out of St. John, he paid a steep price, a couple of first-round picks, and a couple of first-round picks, I think, also for Tyson Hinds, because he was 18 at the time when he made the move. I said to myself, I can't see him getting these type of players and not wanting to build around and probably go all the way this year. So that's what he did. He had to surround these guys, like Tyson Hinds is on the blue line. He had to have another couple of quality players around this guy. And same thing with Joshua Roy, who has a lot of scoring punch up front, but he needed some help, and that's exactly what he got with Melanson and with Brabenich.
Do you see any holes in this lineup? Because you added players at every position with Adam and nets and 2 big forwards and a defense. Were all the loose ends tied up, so to speak, with this trade window?
I think that they were. Now you end up with what I call a big 3 on defense with Marc-ANdre Gadet, with Tyson Hinds and David Spacek. Also, you'd have 2 great offensive lines. Good third checking line probably with Milo Rollins, Munroe-Boucher, Mianscom. You have some depth on the 4th line, which they didn't have this year. Now you probably have some guys like Andrew Belchamber on the 4th line with J.M. Lagacé and rookie Maxime Côté. So you can roll your 4 lines. That's a great thing to be able to do that in the second part of the season and in the playoffs. And I think that's about the same thing for defense. With the 3 guys I talked about, you add Captain Kalen Gauthier, you add Rondeau, and also Joe Fleming, the American, who is a very, very solid defenseman, can carry the puck. He's a great skater. A guy who likes to throw his checks around. He likes to drop the shoulder on guys. I think all the boxes were checked by Stefan Julien this year.
All these players that are NHL drafted, and yet you have a guy like Justin Gill kind of lying in the weeds in Sherbrooke, who has exploded this season to be one of the league's leading point getters. What has been the key to his success this year?
He was picked up by Sherbrooke around the same time they got Joshua Roy. The pandemic got to him a bit, didn't get as much playing time, wasn't in the greatest of shape when he got to Sherbrooke. We could see that he had some upside on offense, but there was a lot of frustration in his game, was a lot and more often in the penalty box than on the ice. But this year, at 19 years old, he was pointed to as a guy who could probably take up the slack from the departure of guys who had a lot of points, like Xavier Parent and Anctil. And I think what probably sparked Justin Gill was an invitation to the Vancouver Canucks rookie camp. He came back from there a completely transformed player. He had a great beginning to the year. He was paired with Joshua Roy. The 2 really got along really well. Apart from maybe a couple of weeks where his production wasn't as great, he got sick like a lot of players in this league. But since then, he came back to his offensive ways, and he has something like 32 goals now, and he's like in the top 5 of the point getters in the league. I think this guy is probably somebody we didn't have on our radar, but I think Coach Julien had him on his radar.
What else do you think fans should be looking forward to when watching this Sherbrooke team on Thursday?
I'd like to say a word on the acquisition of goalie Olivier Adam, who wasn't maybe on the top of anybody's shopping list when getting a 20-year-old goalie, but Phoenix already had one with Jacob Robillard. But his season wasn't very good. The expectations were very high with him because he brought the team to the semifinals last year. He had a great season. He went to Ottawa Senators rookie camp. He had a great camp up there. Came back to Sherbrooke, won his 8 first games. Didn't steal any games. He was doing okay. The team was playing great in front of him. But after that, he started to nosedive, and nobody understands why his percentage was below 900. As a 20-year-old goalie, that was a problem for Stéphane Julien. So he went to get Olivier Adam for a fair price, 6th-round choice, and a 3rd-rounder. Every time he was between the pipes with Drakkar de Baie-Comeau against the Phoenix, he stole games. We went over there at the beginning of the year, and he blanked the Phoenix 4-0. It was the first game that the Phoenix didn't get a single goal in a game. He's a guy who played midget right here in Magog, so everybody knows him. He's a guy who was very, very calm between the pipes. In his first few games against Chicoutimi, won his first game, and then he played against the Ramparts in Quebec, beat them. He was solid in that game too. People in the Maritime should have a good look at him in the next few games.
Look forward to seeing all the stars on Sherbrooke. Thanks for teeing it up for us, Marc. Have fun covering the team the rest of the year.
Thanks a lot, Patrick. Thanks for having me.
That is Sherbrooke Phoenix play-by-play man Marc Bryson. His team is coming to town at Center 200 on Thursday night. You'll want to see that. You're listening to the intermission of Cape Breton Credit Union Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.